Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Balram Prasad and I'm working with Microsoft as a senior software engineer. Today we are going to have a demo where we are going to see incremental load data from Azure SQL Managed Instance to Azure Storage using Change Data Capture technology CDC. And when we work in data related field, it is a common task that we have a source and we have a destination where we schedule some jobs to pull data from one source to push into destination. Suppose you have a application which is writing transaction data into Azure SQL Managed Instance, and you have 1 terabyte of data where you want to build some machine learning model, you want to be reporting, or you want to keep this data for history purpose. There are a lot of scenario you can do, but you do not want to do from Azure SQL Managed directly because that will not have good performance. You want to pull the data and push into Azure Data Lake from where this consumer this scenario can be built. And for this one, if you have 1 terabyte of data, you do not want to do daily push up 1 terabyte of data to lake, right? It will be taking a lot of time. It will be ingress cost, egress cost, lot of different things will come into play. And that's why always we should look at that how we can do incremental data load. Whatever got changed after that last push was done. And that's why there are various way we can achieve this scenario into Azure SQL or SQL Server or a SQL Managed Instance. There are few common one which we are going to discuss, and then we are going to use CDC for our demo. One common example can be that we can have a watermarking column or timestamp column into our transactional database, which will have updated or inserted date or whatever that was there. And one table we can have config where we are going to put that when last time pipeline was successful run for pushing this data into lake. And this scenario we achieved by this method into our last demo. You can refer that video. And in this, we are going to enable change data capture technology into our Azure SQL Managed Instance, and we can enable that for that table also. And then we can see how we can find that what got modified into that table, and we are going to push only the delta to lake. That is what we are going to do. And for this, we wanted to have a end-to-end demo. That is why we are going to create Azure SQL Managed Instance. We are going to create Lake. We are going to create Factory, and we will connect all this using linked services and required table. We will create into Managed Instance, and then we will create the pipelines and run that one and see it is working or not. If you want to see any specific section, you can fast forward that video and see that one. So let's go into Azure portal and let's start the demo. I'm into Azure subscription, and this is the resource group which we have created for this demo. Let me go ahead and create SQL Managed Instance first. So let's put the name REST. Okay, so let's see these details for that. Let's have 10 GB only. We need max or minimum. We can have that. Whatever minimum we can go. I'm just selecting that. We do not need all this option. Let's have this both authentication enabled and public endpoint will be enabled, and from internet. See this admin. Says that it will take some time, around 6 hours. Yeah, it can take some time. Till that time I'm going and creating that Azure storage. And I'm enabling the radical namespace. That's why it is Gen2. Now I'm going to create that Azure Data Factory. Let this all deployment should be finished. Then we can come back here. Our resource has been created. Let's go to our SQL Managed Instance. And we do not have any database right now. So let's create one database. Rest of the setting will be same. So it won't take much time. Deployment is in progress right now. Deployment is complete. Let's go to resource. And first thing we want to do that, let's go manage instance once again, and let's get that connection string. And there are a lot of different endpoints. We will go with this public endpoint, and we will try to connect with Azure Data Studio. Let's connect. Now we can see this database. There is no table right now. Let's select a new query. And now we will create required tables. So let's create a customer table. Okay, and customer ID, first name, last name, email, city, and PK will be PK customer ID, and cluster ID will be customer ID. So let's run this command executed successfully. Now, once it is done, we have to enable CDC setting for this database. So let's go and run a new query. And the command is sys.sp underscore cdc underscore enable db. And now we can run this one, and there is our db is selected here. So let's run. It says that command runs successfully. Now, once this command has run successfully, it is enabled for database, but now we have to tell that which table we have to enable. Let me go ahead and run one more query for that purpose. And that command is sys.sp underscore cdc dot enable underscore table, and then we have to pass schema details and consumer table name and other things. So let's pass that, and we can run this. So it says that it enabled everything. Now, once this command is successfully run, let's go ahead and we can insert some records into this table. So right now I am trying to run insert into dbo.customer table, and customer ID, first name, last name, email, city, and 3 records. So if we go into this table, expand the table after refresh, we have dbo.consume customer tables, right? So let's run this, and 3 rows affected. If we try to see that rows, we see 3 records, right? Now let's go to our ADF pipeline. Let's launch Studio. Let's go ahead and create required link services. Let's test connection. Test connection successful. So I'm going to create this one. And then we can select that our data lake Gen 2. We can enter manually. We can use different type of authentication, but I'm going with account key. Connection is successful for this one. Now, as our both connection has been created, linked service has been created, let's go to pipeline. And for this demo, what we are going to do, that we are trying to create 2 type of pipeline. One will be full, which will run first time and pull all the data, and then we will use the another one which will pull that incremental one based on tumbling trigger and some function. So let's see that one. And for this, let's put the lookup activity. We can go without lookup activity also, but I'm just trying to show you something. That is why I'm just trying to show some function about that how CDC works. So I'm just putting this lookup activity name get change count, and then let's create one data set based on SQL Managed Instance. And once we select our linked services, we can see some table. And if you notice that cdc.dbo underscore customer underscore ct is one table is created when we enable the ctc. This is logical table inside that. Let's select with this one, this table name. We can click OK. And if we go and instead of running the table, we have to run query. And if we see this query that I am putting that query, it says that from this table, customer table, we can go ahead and see what got changed till now. So there is only after creation, only 3 records is there, and we are going get date all the time. So it is going to put from starting through start to end, it is whatever is happening, it will pull all these details. So let's see that in preview there are change count is 3, and then after this we can put if condition. Let's go and put one in if condition, and if it's true, right, and then we want to do that. Let's put in condition that if this first activity row count is greater than 0, then true, right, and then we want to do copy activity. So let's go and do copy activity, and copy is that copy full data to lake. And for this one, let's create source data set. We do not have right now for actual table, so we can go ahead and create. Let's select our table details, and our table is consumer, so I can go ahead and update the dataset name also, consumer and customer. Okay, and now here also, instead of we can go and pull, if this is the full case, we can pull all the table, and we do not need all this, but I want to show you that how we can use the cdc also here. So if we go and put these details, like if you see the details, I'm putting with time details that, okay, go ahead and use this function, get what got changed, and then pull all the data which got changed between all this, and I'm putting all, right, the time stamp from when it was minimum time stamp was there for this change, and what is right now. Go ahead and figure out everything and pull all the details. So if we preview this detail, we are able to all 3 records which we change is inserted. So we can do this way, and once it is done, let's go ahead and create the sync setting for this one. And sync database we have also not created, so let's go and create the sync database. And for delimited, we can go and say that okay, link service will be our data row. We can give a first row, and let's browse that one. I don't think there is a container right now, so let's go back and create one container for this storage. Okay, so customer will be there. Okay, we can use customer, and then we will create full, also full folder, because we want to push into full. So let's go into this. Full is not there, so let's create the full folder inside this. And I want to put one delta also here. Next time we will create inside the delta or incremental. So let's go and let's click on OK now. it will take. And in here also, if we want to go and put the parameterization for this one, then we can put some parameter like let's see what can be the expression for this table, and we can use saying that okay, so we can append the trigger time that when this pipeline ran, right? So we can do like this one, that our table name customer and then pipeline, and then we can also put under .csv. So this will be file name. We can give the details, and it is going to create that, and it is going to put into with the time system. Let's publish this pipeline, and we will run and see that all the records are coming or not. Then we will go ahead and create a delta pipeline. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the full pipeline. And we could have gone with copy activity without CDC also, that for full pull. But I just wanted to show you that how this works, CDC functions. So if we go and see the output, the change count is 3, and then if condition will be true, and then after if condition, this is running our copy activity. Copy activity is also successful. If we go and see that 3 rows has been written, 1 file has been created inside our full, it should be under full. So let's see. So if we go and see the details, it is going right now, it is adding all these details inside the table. And we can also put the filter about these 2 columns, which is created by our CDC. We can select that one also later. And then let's go and let's try to see some more changes over there, right? Now let's go ahead and create some more records and delete few records from this table. And number 4 we are inserting, number 5 we are inserting, 6 we are inserting, and then if we notice that 1 4 6 the name was different, and we are updating the name, and then we are deleting 5 also when we will run our delta pipeline. And in the new file there should not be existing 3 records, right? So that we want to see. So let's go back to our pipeline, and now let's create one new pipeline. Let's put the name as delta, and here also let's put the lookup activity. Let's put the same name, and we can select this same source data set. And instead of query, I'm going to little bit modify that query itself, which we did in that time, right? Now instead of using directly, now we are going to use this function. Begin time is pipeline.parameter.trigger start time, and end time is pipeline end time, and that's what we are passing and into this function to get whatever change has been happened between this time window. And we will see what is that parameter we are going to pass into this detail, so we can see the details. And also, before going to too much detail, let's create two more parameter inside our pipeline, and we can have for this pipeline trigger start time, and then we can have trigger end time. So it is going inside this one, and we will see that when we will schedule this pipeline with the help of trigger, we will see what we are going to pass, right? So now our change count function is ready. And if we go into, now let's go and put if activity one more time, and once it is giving any records and true, then we can go details. And same thing we have to do it here, that if any activity we have any condition, we can put the same condition that if this first lookup is giving more than 1, then we can start copy activity. So let's go ahead in this one. And in copy activity also, let's little bit modify here. and copy activity customer, but instead of this query we are going to write little bit of different query which will include that same time thing. So if we go into the details, we are using once again parameter dot trigger time and start time, and we are passing the both function to cdc function, and then we are getting that what got changed between that time window, and that's what we are doing. For sync, let's create a new, because I wanted to give different one. So let's create one more, and we will have customer. I can use that one, but I do not want to put into full folder, and I wanted to customize for this demo a little bit in this path. So let me put that, and we can have this inside customer, and we will go for delta also. Let's see. Let's put add dynamic content. So we are going to do this based on dataset trigger start and other things. Before that also we have to, let me go ahead and parameter. I have to add one parameter for this one also to display that trigger start. So I'm going to start this trigger, and when we will commit here in dynamic also we can use the parameterize thing, so it will be creating like that. And so customer is our main folder in delta, and then it is going to use that trigger start being formatted date time ddy by mm, and we will see how it is going to create in when it is going to run. So we will see that details. So right now our delta pipeline has been created, right? So let me publish this one. Let's see. So copy activity, we have to provide a parameter it here in sync also. So let's parameterize that. Before that, let me open quickly it here. I forgot to add .csv. So inside, let's put little bit here. The folder also that I want to put in folder created for YYMM. So let's go ahead and okay, now let's go back to our delta, and in copy activity in the data set property we have to pass this parameter. So pipeline parameter which is going to come, we will pass that. Let's try to publish. If there is no error then it will be published. So right now publish is there. So now delta pipeline is there, but what is the parameter for trigger start time in time is going to happen? And for that we are going to use our tumbling trigger. So tumbling trigger we can use, and let's go and try to use this tumbling trigger, and let's have each 5 minutes, and then in this, if we click on OK, this is the parameter which we are going to pass in this one. So if we see that format date time, trigger the output window start time, window start time we are using, and window in time we are using. There are two system function. If we go into more details of window start and window time function, we can go for window start time and ADF, and we can see that function, that these are the system function which gives the timestamp when last run was there, when what is the start and another thing. So it will be coming from that perspective. So I'm going to publish that, and every 5 minutes this pipe trigger will be created and trigger will be run. So let's go ahead and wait for that trigger to run. So if we go into our trigger section, this trigger has been created and attached, and it is going to start in some time. So 5 minutes, each 5 minutes. So let's this start. Let's monitor that one, and we will see the first run what is happening. It is failing or being succeeded. So we can see. So this trigger has been started and pipeline right now running. So let's see. And if we go into the details little bit first, if we go and see that what got passed, so that begin time was 7 o'clock with USA UTC time, and 5 minute window it has passed, because this window is scheduled for 5 minutes, every 5 minutes. That's what it is doing. But if you notice that one, it is passed at 7:07 before it, 5 minutes before, because it is running at 11 12 7:12. So 5 minutes before, because 5 minute window it is given. So now it is succeeded, and I am assuming that one in lake, if we go and see the details, only whatever change is there, it should come, right? But it might not come in that, because that whatever we ran, that was not in the time window, right? So there was nothing ran into that time window. So before that, we have to run. So let's go ahead, and why it did not come, because that if we pass this parameter and we ran that insert query before that one, so in that case, if it is running, it is missing. That is why we can run full again. But let me go ahead and create a few more one, and then we can delete whatever is there, right? So now the parameter has been configured, so we can go ahead and let me delete 4 5 6, right? 5 we have already deleted, and then 4 I am deleting, and 6, yeah, right? And we will do the same thing one more time. This same record we can create and see that what is happening, right? So 4 5 6, let me create 4 5 6, and then I'm going to create this 6, and let's delete that 5. Let me create few more, right? 7 8, and I just want to see that how that CDC behaves. So let's create 3 more, and this was the PK 789. So PK was stored previously also with the help of CDC. So we will see that how many records are coming into next run when it is running in after 5 minutes inside this ADF. So let's wait for 5 minutes, and then we will see that how many times it is running and how what is coming. So now third time this is been created. Let's go ahead and see what is happening. So it went into this place, and it is into queue right now. So let's see if anything we can figure out. So here it says that 5 row has been written and file has been created 1, right? And if we go into previous ones where we did not see that any records, let's go and see the details. Here there was no records, right? So that was there. Let's go into, okay, so it is one more time it is creating like that one, we missed that part. So it is creating customer delta, and then 2020 the year, that date wise. Then last time also it was created, but let's see that what was there inside that one, because there should not be any records. Yeah, there was only that header, and this time it is going to come. We have 4 5 6, 4 and 6 we created, and 5 we deleted, 7 8 and 9, right? 7 4 we have update, 6 we updated, right? So we updated 6 number with ln, so that update is also there. For 9 we did not update it. So that is how it is coming. 1 2 3 is not came, right? So I hope you guys got the concept of this one, how we can use that CDC for getting the delta data, what got changed between these time windows, or also you can customize depending upon your need, that what particular date time window you want to get the change data, and how we can enable these settings also.